So this video is a follow-on from a couple that I've done for the Easy Sphere jig, which is a jig that I bought maybe about a month ago. Really happy with the jig, very easy to set up, very easy to use, even for a novice like myself. But it did come with a high-speed steel cutter, and I cut a lot of resin, and the high-speed steel generally is just a little bit too aggressive. It tends to chip the resin. So I'd reached out to Chefware Kits, and they had let me know that they were actually developing a carbide holder. So this is the new carbide bit. They reached out to me, let me know that this had been released. It comes with a standard carbide piece. I replaced that with a negative rake piece. I'm a huge fan of the negative rake pieces. I used it just today. It only arrived yesterday, but I just used it today to cut this sphere. I made a bit of a mistake with this casting, and I ended up with not enough wood in the bottom for the sphere. But actually it turned out to be a very good way of testing the jig, because this is almost entirely resin, as you can see. It cut absolutely beautifully. It's like a different tool. Really happy with it. By the time I finished, I actually started sanding at 800 grit, and it just was fantastic. So I'll show you some of the pictures for that. Very happy with it. I'll show you how we got it all set up. Kudos to Craig at Chefware Kits for turning around this piece. I really appreciate it, and would certainly recommend it to anybody. So let me show you how I used it and what that looks like. Thanks. Okay, so I've got the negative rake piece into the cutter. And as always, it's pretty straightforward to set up. I rough turned this, and I'm actually going to post a video showing how I rough turned it. And then I use a framing square just to sort of make sure that I'm pretty close to square, although I do eyeball the jig. And I basically just align it so that there we go, the cutter is aligned with where I can see the center of the sphere is. I think it's pretty close. And then, see if I can get a good view of this, I just make sure that it runs nicely sort of over the sphere. You can see actually got quite a bit of clearance there, but it's a fairly sort of consistent clearance. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm probably going to have to take probably about 1/4 of an inch off, I think, all the way around. So anyway, it took me probably just 2 or 3 minutes to get the jig set up. Okay, so I did pretty well lining that up. As always, it's a pretty easy device to line up. There's a little nub there, so it wasn't quite dead center. I need to just get used to where the actual negative rake cuts. Let me do this. Let me let me just lift the jig out, and just get a little bit of mineral spirits on this, and just see what that finish looks like. I've got to say, using it was absolutely just so smooth, the cutter, which doesn't surprise me. So obviously, you know, there's no sanding on that. That is literally just the cutter working on that, and I'm thinking that is going to sand up nicely. So just to reiterate, really very happy with this. I liked the jig anyway, but having the ability to change out the carbide bits made a huge difference. As you can see, the sphere turned really nicely, took a lot less work to finish it up. I've got a couple of other projects to work on, going to get started on those, and if I get a chance I might just tack a picture of those to the end of this video. But thanks again to the team at Chefware Kits for listening to their customers and turning around something like this as quickly as they did. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, comments, just put them down below. Thanks.